I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 3 minutes after 4. It is this is the regular meeting for March. Call the meeting to order. It is 3 minutes after 4. It is the regular meeting for March. March 22nd, 2023. And we'll go ahead and start with roll call. Please identify if you are connected or present. 22nd, 2023.
Present.
Okay, I'll go ahead and call names. James Leckie.
Here.
Meg Larson. Sean Keating. Taryn Richmond. Mark Larson.
Here.
Scott Walters.
Here.
Steve Corey here. Tom Audie here. We'll move on to ex officio members. Rochelle Klein.
Here.
Quorum being present. We'll go ahead and move into business. First on the agenda, first item is the adoption of the agenda. Are there any comments on the agenda?
Mr. Chair, no comments, but I move we adopt the agenda as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the agenda be approved as written. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote. All those in favor of approving the agenda as written signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. And we'll go ahead and note that Meg Larson has joined us too.
Thank you.
We'll next move on to approval of the minutes from the February 22nd meeting. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at those. Are there any comments on the draft minutes for the February 22nd meeting?
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the minutes from the February 22nd meeting be approved as written. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of approving the draft minutes as written signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. Thank you. I want to go ahead and take this opportunity at this time to go ahead and identify that Tom Audie has identified that he needs to go ahead and step back from the commission and focus on landfill activities. He's going to be missed here. His knowledge of the business has been something that we have relied on very heavily. And so I do look forward to him being here whenever we need him, but unfortunately, I recognize the fact that it's just one thing too many. Anyway, Tom, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to thank the commission, the city, the wonderful partnership with Republic Services for being very welcoming to me the entire time I was with the city, helping the commission as a commissioner. It's been a wonderful labor of love.
With that, we'll go ahead and move into staff program reports. Meridian Library Home Ownership Fair, April 22nd. Sayard Schultz, you want to give the details on this?
Yeah, so Conrad actually and I are going to table at this fair, and it's about new home ownership. So people will come in and want to learn about the rules and maybe energy efficiency, and then we'll talk about waste management, what the city can provide, what public services can provide. So we just thought it would be extend it to you guys as well to work on some, getting out there also and doing some outreach. So it's April 22nd, Earth Day, from 11 to 3. We could do shifts, half the time. Conrad can be there, half the time I can be there, and then you guys can filter in. But if anybody's interested, you can certainly email me, and then we can work out the details. And then, no, it's at the Meridian Library on Cherry. And in the email that I sent you, what was it, last Wednesday, there should be a little brochure that talks about it. So yeah, if anybody's interested, just send me an email and we can all coordinate together.
Commissioners, any questions on that activity?
No questions, Mr. Chair, but I am planning to email Sayard and see if I can help out.
Thank you, Commissioner Larson.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to remark that the image that Sayard sent out in the email, I think it looks great. The home ownership fair. The advertisement.
Oh, thanks. I didn't make that. I just send out.
Thank
I
you for
think.
sending that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chair, and I'll have to look at my schedule. I might be out of town, but if I'm in town that Saturday, I at least like to see what's going on and help if I can.
Can promote the recycle a bicycle program there too.
I'm starting to think we don't need to promote it. It's pretty busy, but yes, thank you.
Additional comments on this public outreach opportunity? And then I know there's kind of a extension on this. Looking ahead, we're 2.5 months out to the Public Works Expo. Sayard, do you want to go ahead and talk about Public Works Week?
Sorry about that. Yeah, so for Public Works Week, that's June 7th. And I just wanted to get a feel if we wanted to do the same thing as last year or a little bit different. So last year, you guys were inside in that one little area, and Public Services, Timber Creek and City were outside next to the truck. Do you want to also be outside next to the truck, or do you guys prefer being inside the same area?
Commissioner Nelson.
I'm not sure. I think that works fine now. And it might be kind of nice to have. Have we got rained on a lot the last few years? For some reason. Yeah, but maybe it's okay to have that. Yes.
Well, I was thinking if we're similar to last year, then that gives people 2 opportunities to get solid waste information. I was kind of thinking about it too. Like there's that positivity, and then, but then if we're all together, so I was just kind of wanted your feedback because they're starting to plan. So I wanted to work on that.
Mr. Chair, did it feel to you that you were kind of tucked away back in the corner?
This last year, yes, we were. We were tucked back in the corner of the conference room. Of course, the previous years, we've been tucked in the corner up here against council chambers. So the inside booth is, but as was mentioned, that was very good during the previous couple of years when there was some downpours that occurred because everybody was inside, and all of a sudden we got a rush of people. So even last year with mixed weather to good weather, there's still a number of people that stopped by the booth. So I think either of them, we're good with either of the locations. And I think it's good for us to have the 2 locations.
Perfect.
Anything more on Public Works Expo at this time?
No, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on that so I can make sure to get enough tables and chairs and yeah. Thanks.
Perfect. With that, we'll move into old business. The first item under old business is Recycle a Bicycle Program. Commissioner Nelson.
Mr. Chair, of course, we've been, as usual, fighting weather. It's finally got a couple good half days out there to move some bikes around. And first of all, thanks to Republic Services for giving us a covered work area now and moving our tools all in one spot. So it's a little quicker for us to get started. And so we started to move some bikes across. It seems like we've got 10 bikes for the rescue mission that we got. Good, they just picked them up. We have a pretty good start on bikes for Meridian Unplugged, kind of staged in a roll off, and then next to our area, our new covered area, some that need repaired. But we also have 30 or 40 bikes staged to take to Farmway Village tomorrow afternoon. And that'll get quite a few more out of the way. We're making progress on getting bikes kind of relocated. More to follow there, but I'm going to be out of town all next week. But when I get back, we'll get some more dates scheduled for doing some repairs. And we might reach out also for money as usual. If it turns out that we need to buy any more tubes or slime, and we might buy a couple more tools. I think we need some of the tools we bought last year we're finding aren't what we need, but we'll add some Allen wrenches and screwdrivers and a few other things. So we'll get started on that here 1st of April.
You could just send me like what you did last time, just find wherever online or on Amazon, and you can just send it to me and then I'll find it.
All right, thanks.
Are you thinking about doing on what, because last year it was mostly on Wednesdays? Are you,
Tuesdays.
or Tuesdays, yeah. Are you still thinking about Tuesday as your day?
Yeah, I think those are good dates. It seems like we had to cancel all the Tuesdays last month because those were the worst weather days. And Thursdays were the only ones that were dry. But yeah, we'll try to do Tuesdays again. There's also, we can just formalize a couple, how many people we're going to have on except for bikes to take to Meridian Unplugged and what's going to be on the website for earlier pickup. I'm not sure if we've finished deciding how we're going to do that.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Nelson, I think we had two things. One, also Meridian Middle School is going to get us a list of bikes for before summer. So we'll add that to our list. So there'll probably be another 20 bikes or so for Meridian Middle School. And those are all people selected by the school counselors as kids that need bikes. And then I talked to Sayard about Unplugged, like having closing the orders the 10 days out and then giving them like several days before the event to actually pick up their bike before the event. And then we'll take any unclaimed bikes to the event and just give them away for free. Because then we don't have to haul back and forth and, we can I can work there in the afternoons leading up to the event. And if someone comes in, we can get them their bike that we selected for them. And that we'll probably still out of, let's say 40 bikes, we'll probably still have 15 or so to take to the event, or we can take a bunch of little kid bikes or whatever and just give them away at the event and not have it be stressful about bringing bikes back and trying to coordinate and that kind of stuff. That's what I was thinking would work. What are your thoughts?
Yes. Yeah, we've had those conversations and I think we're all on the same page there.
Perfect. And I think Sayard said she'll be opening by early April, she'll probably open up the order for people who want to participate in Unplugged and order bike. So we should have pretty good list. I mean, we already have a pretty good start on the bikes, but we'll have a list from her, between the beginning of April and the beginning of May, basically.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so for this year, since we have a new website, we'll have to build that. So I'll probably be working with you two to figure out what you want. And then do you have a listing of the questions that you ask? Because I'll have to create a new sign up sheet. I could talk to Renee next week, but if you happen to have that now.
Yeah, I don't have that right off the top of my head, but I think I probably have copies of last year's spreadsheets.
That have all the questions that you need. Okay.
Yeah.
That will help. Yeah. Cause I know off the top of my head, I know some stuff, but I might be missing some things. And then we can get that going. So at the beginning of April, if we open it, or like the second week of April, we open it up to ask for a bike, and then we close that May 3rd, and then the event is May 13th. Does that sound like a doable time frame?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then right in front of you, there should be a logo. So it's your logo. Yeah, the recycle a bicycle. Yeah, so we're trying to do some outreach. And my question is, so you have the logo and then you have all the different sponsors. Wondering if we can separate that out so we can have the sponsors, wherever we want, usually down at the bottom of the page. And then we would have the recycle a bicycle and then the wording underneath that. That would work. And then we would, the sponsors, So we'll have the SWAC one, the Public Services one, and then we choose between the two city ones, which one that you would prefer.
I'll look at my computer again for the recycle bicycle logo. I don't know if that's final. I think what you have planned will work.
Okay, okay. Yeah, and then we'll have to get there because Republic Services has an updated logo as well. Okay, okay, perfect. I'll email you more about it. But I just wanted to get your guys' like input on that. Perfect,
Yes,
thanks.
thank you.
Any additional comments or questions in regards to the recyclable bicycle activity? Very good. We'll go ahead and move on to the next item, which is the grant program subcommittee update. I had a chance to exchange emails with Sean Keating, and he identified that they had been penciling some adjustments to the procedures to go ahead and take out some of the redundancies that are in some of our documents, and may bring those next month. But again, as was mentioned, they're wanting to go ahead and be synergistic with the solid waste management plan. So as far as their timing for getting this done, they want to get it done about the same time that the solid waste management plan comes out, and go ahead and emphasize the recommendations that we've got in that. I do want to mention that with Tom Oddie, of course, would be stepping off of that subcommittee. And as a result of that, if there's somebody else who wants to step in and join Taryn and Sean, that there is a spot for that. So just give me your name if you're interested, and we'll make room. With that, we'll go ahead and move on into new business. The new business item is the request we made of our recommendation to council that they approve funding for the glass and for the squishy water bottle projects. That went very well, very efficiently. It was received very well, and all council members present voted to approve the expenditures. So that money will be available for those two projects. And with that, right now, with most recent donations from Hand in Hand We Recycle and such, the balance in the community recycling fund is just over, well, is approaching $85,000. With what the council went ahead and approved, 9,400 of it is allocated for those two projects. So at current, there is a balance of $75,400 available for our recommendations when we start looking to recommend activities for CFRP. Are there any questions on the council's approval or on the balance of the CFRP? Very good. Then we'll go ahead and move on to stakeholder updates. And the item we've got under there is fuel costs and recycling markets for public services.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So what we wanted to talk about today is just a couple things that are affecting our business, our industry. Make it clear up front, we don't have any asks at this point. So we're not coming and asking for a price increase, but these two particular topics are definitely leaving a mark this year. So we'll start with fuel. So compressed natural gas, which all of the trucks that run here in Meridian, that's how they're fueled. For the last really 12 years has been really stable, and you have not seen a lot of price fluctuation. In the last 6 months, we've actually received a 42% increase from our local utility. So we got the first one in August, which was 18%, which higher than normal, but just given all the rest of the inflation, not too surprising. The one that did surprise us a little bit is we got another 20% or 22% here in February. And the reason for that is some pipeline issues that they've got between El Paso, Texas and California, that if you've read about this, they had a problem with the pipeline. California said, hey, we need compressed natural gas. They went out in open market, and all the Rocky Mountain states pretty much got hammered on natural gas prices. So the good news, I understand, is that pipeline's up and running again, might not be full capacity. So we're working pretty close with Intermountain Gas. Like I'm calling them every month saying, when are we getting a decrease now? But I mean, it's a big number. Put this a little bit in perspective. Our compressed natural gas, so we do a diesel gas equivalent, we're paying $1.68 a gallon versus diesel, which is high fours right now. So any way you cut it, it is still a better option. But this has just been a little bit of a rocky road the last few months with the fluctuating price that we have not seen since we installed natural gas here in the area. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of relief there, but if that doesn't change, that's going to be a discussion point that we're going to have to get into. So any questions on that? All right, next topic is just recycling markets. So this has been a topic of conversation for at least the last 5 years since China soared. And, we really did see the last couple of years, some of those commodity prices come back. Now, they never cleared what they did pre-China soared. But in the last 6 months, those have also went the other way, unfortunately. And so, just kind of a round number, we are getting about half of the rebate we were getting last August. So a lot of the analysts right now are saying that they think that's going to be coming back this summer. As I heard on the news this week, and I don't believe any analyst experts until I see it actually happen. So that's just another one to keep in mind, that we've seen that take a pretty big dive. And one of the ones that was surprising is cardboard. Cardboard primarily gets sold to manufacturing companies that pulp it, reprocess it, and that price has dropped significantly. And that's one of the commodities that held really steady for a long time. The other thing that's coming up for us, and we're getting not mixed, but at some point we're going to get our polymer center up and running down in Vegas. And we've been in talks with Western Recycling as far as taking the plastics. That could be a huge game changer for us, because we're actually, as a company, going to be shipping it, washing it, processing it, bagging it, and selling it directly to manufacturers. And that's a huge opportunity, not only to get a better price for it, but take some of the numbers of plastic that were not recyclable before and have an end use for them. So I'm kind of predicting that this next 6 months is going to be a little bit of a roller coaster with that. And, if given the opportunity, I'll keep everybody apprised of that. But I thought they were, good updates from an industry standpoint. So I will stand for questions.
Commissioners, any questions or comments on the information provided? Thank you, Bob. We definitely want to keep up to date on what's going on in the markets. So feel free to come forward and pass information to us whenever you feel like it's something that's useful to us. Seeing no others. I don't see any stakeholders for any of the other entities that we work with. So we'll move on to the action items. My update on the reaching out to artists. I got some very good information from Sean Mascolo, and he's very open, obviously, would be very supportive to us on whatever we should choose to go ahead and pursue at this point. And I guess in reality, that everything's pretty much, well, open. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up for conversation. If any of the commissioners want to go ahead and fine tune our direction at this point, it would definitely be a good time to focus a bit. Not seeing any volunteers. Is there any thoughts about, do we want to go ahead and do something at Arts Week?
Mr. Chair, this is Mike Larson. Based on the email that you sent out, I am in favor of the idea of a contest, something we announce ahead of time. And then if it's possible, I'm thinking the participants bring their items or bring photos of their items or something, and we can do a little like ballot or something where people at the event can sort of put a ticket in a jar for their favorite one or something like that. I don't know how many participants we would get, if it would be impractical for them to bring their actual items. But, you know, as you said in the email, you know, placing a limiter on size, having a deadline, and then either having pictures of the item or the actual item at the event. And then the people could stop by the booth and vote for their favorite, and we could talk about recycling. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I also definitely support the idea of like a contest. I think the auditors brought up a lot of good points of sort of, I guess, logistical concerns with having an in-person event where they actually make artwork at the event. And so I think a contest would definitely be a good option for us.
Yes, I support that idea also. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sensing a growing consensus on this, that we definitely want to go ahead and do something during Arts Week, that we want to have a booth there, and that we want some kind of a contest. Obviously, there's still some details to work out on all of this. I would certainly appreciate some assistance on working out the details of this so that the commission has something to kind of start finalizing. If there's anybody that would like to assist on this, I would certainly love to hear from you at this point.
Mr. Chair, I'd definitely be interested in helping iron out details for that.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, oops, go ahead.
Nope, you go first.
I'd be happy to help as well.
Thank you,
Nope.
Commissioner Larson.
I will make a third.
Okay, that'll work out good. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and I'll start bouncing some emails back amongst the people that just volunteered, and we'll see if we can't flesh out this so that the commission can start focusing on a fun activity for us. September weather is usually pretty good, so it should be a nice opportunity to be outside. With that, that takes care of all the items that are on our agenda. Is there any other business items that anyone would like to bring up at this time?
Mr. Chair, one thing I'd like to bring up. So at the beginning of the year, we kind of talked about potentially like visualizing the success of the squishy water bottle challenge or the squishy water bottle project from the previous year. So I've kind of been brainstorming some ideas for that. It's about like 50 to 60,000 water bottles. And one thing that I thought was cool was it's about enough to cover like an entire Olympic swimming pool. And so I just wanted to hear from the commission, do you think continuing to work on that might be something that can help with outreach for that program? And I also wanted to ask, have we decided that we're doing that again next year, or is that still up for debate as well?
I'll quickly step in on your second question on this. Yes, the squishy water bottle is authorized for FY23, so it is going to occur through this fiscal year. And so with that, commissioners, anything on developing a visualization of the water bottles that you'd like to pass back to?
I think a photograph of the Meridian pool over there with squishy water bottles to the rim and provide it back to the city to use as marketing materials. I think that's a great idea.
And you could put Trash Talk Tom in it swimming around. He's quite the avid outdoorsman.
Chair, I think that's a wonderful idea. And I actually think it might be great to showcase that, real life or maybe a made up one at the Public Works Week at the booth. I think that'd be great because you guys already talk about that. And it's a program that's, it's been going on for a while now. So that's June 7th. So you have some time, but having some graphics and maybe a chart or something, and I can definitely help you out with numbers on that. But yeah, it's great.
Thanks for the feedback on that.
Any additional comments at this point?
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to say thanks to Tom for all your years of service for, here at the city. And I know it's all appreciated. We know you're busy in your next chapter at the landfill. So thanks for spilling over while you could in this direction. We knew it was probably a limited timeline, but thank you for all you've done for Meridian SWAC.
Thanks, Rochelle.
Let me close out that previous item. If anything comes to you on the squishy water bottles, go ahead and email Commissioner Lucky directly, and we'll see if we can't come up with something to place before you maybe next month. That'd be good. Okay, so the meeting next month is April 27th. And I imagine that we'll probably go ahead and actually see some of those procedural items on the Community Recycling Fund and maybe a few other of the items, report back on the home ownership fair, and a little bit more fine tuning on the Recycle a Bicycle project. If there's any other topics that you think we should pick up, as always, go ahead and contact Sayard or myself, and we'll make sure they get on. And if there's no further business, then I'll go ahead and call the meeting adjourned, and thank you for the work that you do, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks, everyone.
Will not be here. Okay. Well,